All right, this is Raul Ramirez of the Catch Wrestling Alliance, and we are accompanied by.
Cindy, also Cat Wrestling Alliance.
All right, so I guess we can just mention all the stuff first. Where it's like, say, if you want to help us out, you can always become a member of our YouTube channel, or if you, we also have like a lot of content there, a bunch of extra videos. We also have like our online academy at our website, catchwrestlingalliance.com. And then if you're ever in the Los Angeles area and you want to train with us, we're at Fight Science MMA every Thursday. If you happen to have access to UCLA's gym, we're also there. We're there for a few more weeks at UCLA for the summer quarter, so it's still going on, and then we'll have like a summer break. So then you have to wait for fall, but we'll always be at Fight Science MMA. All right. So I think those are all the announcements. So, Cindy, you have a topic you want to kind of talk about?
Yeah, I think I generally want to talk about facing adversity, but it came up when I think I was just having a particularly tough day at practice. But Alan said, like, if you're struggling against your partners, your training partners, and it means be grateful because it means you have good training partners. And I think that really resonated with me because it really reframes how we face adversity. Like when we face against someone challenging or someone that we're struggling against. And I feel like it's a good, positive, healthy way to look at it. So, what do you think about it?
Yeah, no, I agree. Because a lot of times, like if you're at a gym and like you're just beating everyone, um, I think that's why it's good to maybe then like you don't maybe if you have like a good coach and you don't want to like and you really appreciate them, but maybe that's why open mats are pretty good, where it's like you can go face other people who might be more challenging. So, but yeah, if they're more challenging, it's just like another puzzle to solve, right? Or but sometimes even I think they kind of mentioned it one time where it's like even if you're more advanced and if you keep rolling with the same people, then even they might not be as advanced, but they'll get used to your style, right? So that should get more difficult as well. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, either way, it's good to just keep at it, and it could be a good sign, and it's good to go up against people who are difficult to roll with.
Just because you never know who you're going to go against in competition.
Yep, exactly. And you never know, like if they have some kind of more wrestling oriented style or more jujitsu where they're like seated guard or on their back or if they're all of all their attacks come from guard. You never know. So you got to be like facing all kinds of styles and getting used to that.
Yeah. And like levels of intensity too.
Hmm. Yeah, like that's is that kind of like what we're talking about where we feel say even at like at our university UCLA we feel like um some of the jujitsu practitioners that don't like they have like they're not used to that level of like so even competition intensity, right? So
Yeah.
we had we had a scenario where some people we knew because Cindy and I are not involved in like the jujitsu classes, and so but we saw some people who were preparing for a tournament, and we felt like it was like their first one, and we kind of wanted to tell them that it's gonna be difficult, or like someone's gonna
Yeah.
usually tournaments are gonna come after you, right? They want to win too, so a lot of times people will be very aggressive, and that will be unlike what what you're used to in like the gym setting. So you have to get you have to be prepared for the different intensities as well if you're going to be competing.
Yeah. But then again, there's a difference between like hobbyists and competitors.
Yeah, well, what do you think about that? Because I mean, yeah, some people will talk about that, like the hobbyists and competitors, but it's still like an art. So I mean, maybe the hobbyists can focus on like slowing down the more aggressive person, or should they just avoid the that kind of adversity? Because I personally think where it's like it is kind of a martial art, and the whole idea is to be able to try to at least control the other person, no matter how aggressive they are, so that you can at least try to slow them down using your so like wrist locks or just like or wrist control. A lot of times that can slow down someone. Uh, so I don't know. Do you have any kind of thoughts between the hobbyist and the competitor?
I think it just comes down to their goals. Like a competitor wanting to train intense would want to be prepared for competition, but a hobbyist may want to train intense just to get better at the art.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think it's just yeah, it's just different in their goals. But I can see why either one would want to train intense. But I do agree, like wanting because the goal of the art would be to control someone. So you want to get better at it, then you'd want to train with someone intense.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of because that's what I've been seeing online sometimes where people are talking about like the hobbyist and the hobbyist this, hobbyist that. But um, sure, I guess maybe you can identify those who are maybe trying to be competing more, and you don't have to roll with them all the time. But I think even the competitor should be. I think like, if you're showing mastery of anything, like you don't have to be like hurting people. So you should, if you're a master at it, then you should be able to do things in a safer way. Accidents do happen sometimes, but it's like for the most part, like even if you're way more advanced, if you go up against like a hobbyist or a beginner, you shouldn't really be hurting them.
Yeah. But in the realm of adversity, speaking of, I wanted to talk about injuries. Like, how do you, thankfully, I haven't had too many injuries because I've had good training partners, but like, a lot of people get discouraged when they face or when they get injured.
Mhm.
And there's some unhealthy ways, like, very toxic way of looking at it, like, or at least lately, I've seen like, no pain, no gain, life's too short, train when you're injured. And I'm like, no, like, you need to recover, you need to let your injuries heal. And
Yeah,
I think there's no shame in taking a break. There's other ways, other non-physical ways to train. Like you can show up to lately, there's this guy that shows up to practice, but like he never rolls and because he has a cast on, so I assume he's injured, but there's other ways to show up and still practice even though you're not physically practicing.
yeah, right. They often say like even just showing up and even watching can still
Yeah.
help you, right? Yeah, you can see the different bodies doing the techniques and stuff, and so
Mhm.
you can give you ideas and help you just yeah, because that's the thing. A lot of times, like yeah, you have your personal perspective of when you're rolling, through your eyes and all that, but then it's always good to get like this outside perspective, and it helps you to see like different openings or different things you can try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've also said like I did a video about say like yeah the different things you can be doing as well to kind of keep up your health or keep up like the the athleticism, right? So say like so like the grappling is intense, so it's an intense workout. So say like if you get injured and you have to like stop doing it, yeah, it's like the your like say your cardio will go down, like your muscular endurance will go down relatively quickly because just everyday life is not as intense. But that's why I say like if you can't be grappling, if there's other exercises you can be doing to help out. A lot of times, like physical therapy is like exercise to help out whatever it got injured. So it's like if you're doing these other things, it's not like you're completely wasting away, and it's like you can consider these other things as part of your training to come back better and healed.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing I wanted to talk about was maybe like plateauing. Like I can't think of another um word for it, but like plateauing in in your progression. Like you may see everyone else progressing and getting better than you, but you feel like you haven't been progressing maybe as fast or at all. How do you feel like
Mm.
someone should overcome that?
Oh, they should just be awesome, guys.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, I think yeah, you have to the same thing. We're shifting that perspective where it's like knowing that this is like a long-term project. Just like anything else they learned. It's not like even learning to ride a bike. A lot of times, most people can't just jump on a bike and just automatically be able to ride it, right? It's like it takes training, or sometimes like you might have a parent there holding the bike. When you're a little kid or whatever. These things take time, and grappling is like more advanced than controlling a bike, right? So um, it's you have to be thinking that, like, I guess, like, I don't know if it's like humility or anything, but just know it's like any art or whatever just takes a long time. Like learning how to paint well, or anything that you consider an art. Even with like dance or whatever, it's like they're training all the time. It's like, so this is grappling is also an art. So it's going to take a long time to really get good at.
I
Like, don't
agree.
beat yourself. Mhm.
Oh yeah. I was just talking to some black belt the other day. I felt like I'm taking too long to get my next belt because I'm not just because of school and home. I gym hop a lot, so I'm not consistent at one gym enough to get promoted. And he was talking to me about how you just got to keep going. You're in it for the long term if you're in this. So eventually your instructor will have to recognize your skill level and promote you eventually. But the worst case is you just sandbag, you know, and you're you're just gonna you'd very much rather be like a killer white belt than like some mediocre blue belt.
Mhm.
So it may be discouraging at first, but I think the way you look at it is really important.
Yeah, exactly. Like try your best to not see the belts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because even in particularly in catch wrestling, there are no belts, so it's just like you go to practice, right?
Yeah.
I gotta grab my cat real quick. He's there. There we go. Um, yeah, yeah. So yeah, try to think of it that way. And like since like say boxing and wrestling and stuff don't have belts, you just keep practicing and keep honing your skills. And yeah, it's like I don't, maybe that could be why. So like ADCC and was it Jiu Jitsu World League, they they don't have like the belt divisions. They just have beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Right.
Yeah.
So you can test yourself in that way. So if you feel like even though you might officially be a white belt, but you've been training all these years, then maybe you can try the intermediate division or something. Test yourself, see how you do, and then go from there.
Yeah. I also think it's really important. What I've learned is like to not compare yourself to others
Hmm.
because everyone has a different journey and some people are just um Like the reality is some people are more talented than you and some people just have um more ability to train than you do. Like I remember back at HQ, I was really discouraged because this little girl, I already forgot her name. This
Mhm.
little girl, we would often be at a stalemate. She's like 10 years younger than me or like that's an exaggeration, but and she's like 30 pounds lighter than me and I'd be at a stalemate with her. And it's like,
Mhm.
what am I doing? And I remember crying to Eddie Bravo about it. And he's like, it's just because she trains like 4 days a week and you're here only like 2 times a week. So it may feel like you're not progressing, but you're progressing just a lot slower than her.
Yeah, and then she's what, like homeschooled, right? So it's like,
Yeah, so it's like I'm not
mhm.
homeschooled. I work and I do school. So it's like it can be discouraging at times, but it's like it's a really important not to compare yourself.
Yeah. I remember we were thinking it's like we didn't realize it at first, but then we're like, why is she here and not at school?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so what the mom takes her to like even wrestling practice and jujitsu practice. Is she's like training all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like some of us don't have that capability, so it's like not it's important not to compare ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. So you could be progressing at. You're still progressing no matter what, right? So it's like
Yeah.
just keep at it, and yeah, don't compare yourself.
What happened? What happened?
I don't know. It's like you looking slow. Can you hear me?
Oh, maybe it's my Wi-Fi.
Hmm. Yeah, but no, good point about like not comparing yourself. We can check out some of the comments here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, so we got someone Caravaggio saying hello. Yeah, preparation. I'll go ahead and show it on the stream here. Preparation is better than cure. Having trained with some people who are part of catch wrestling lineage, there was always a huge amount of time spent on conditioning. Um, cool. Yeah. So um, personally, like my perspective is, if you're going to be training in a class, you should be focusing on the actual art, right? So I, I'm not too big on that conditioning stuff. I think you should do it on your own at another time, and then during class time, you focus on getting better at the skill. But yeah, you have to be doing that on your own time, like the other uh like strength and conditioning stuff. And yeah, so that was the only thing I would definitely disagree with regards to some of the old um like catch wrestling videos and stuff where you might see them focusing on all these exercises and stuff, but that's just taking up if so when I trained at in Wigan, we had a separate like strength and conditioning time, right? So we had the wrestling time, and sure, we had a warm up and all that, which is difficult, but we were then focusing a lot on the techniques, and then we had a different session that Roy would want us to do, that was like a strength and conditioning times. And um like try not to think like unless you have hours and hours of at one time, this multiple hour block of time, then yeah, you can totally do everything. But I'm sure you get tired, so a lot of times it's good to like break it up. Like that's why a lot of athletes do like a morning session and then the evening, or something like that, where it's like it's not all at once, because you're just gonna get tired and you can't really devote too much effort to anything because you're just gonna be tired.
Yeah, and I really like preparation is better than a cure. Like prevention is definitely key. You want to prevent injuries as much as possible
Mhm.
and gassing
Okay.
out. Like so that means like conditioning, working out, doing stuff on the side. And I've seen some people talk about it, but like The unnecessary warm-ups in front of beginning class. You should come to class warmed up.
Yep, yep. And if they do a warm up in class, it could just be like just a few minutes because really that's really all you need. Just for your body to switch over to like exercise mode. You just need about like 3 minutes of just movement, and doesn't have to be crazy hard or anything, and then get into learning the whatever it is, whether it's wrestling, catch wrestling, jujitsu, kickboxing, boxing, whatever. That's why it's also pretty cool if the coach can make it where it's like the warm up is something very like wrestling or art specific. So those are cool.
Yeah, I think Henry. He says he likes to start with like maybe hand fighting or like some goal oriented warm up,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah,
really like that.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. Like, just like I said, where it's like yeah, it's like it's instead of doing like burpees or something, making the warm up something kind of easy to do that you're still gonna get you into like exercise mode, and you're not going to get injured or you're not going to gas out right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have another comment here. Gabriel Manzano, I appreciate your guys content. I learned a lot about catch wrestling from your vids. Thank you, Gabriel. Feel free to ask any questions, even if not today, we can try to answer at some point.
Yeah.
I do see that it's too much to try to train for sport and condition in the same session. Yeah, you're just gonna gas out. You're probably just also too. I think that one great UFC fighter, right? GSP George St. Pierre. I think he was kind of famous where he really wouldn't train longer than an hour at a time. So he's like, I just can't focus that long, like or longer than that. And then he would break up workouts. So I think most people really do. Um, so a lot of times, just like working out for several hours is just a little too much. For at once, right? Just
Right,
get
right.
tired, and you tune out.
But you gotta also give your time body to recover.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Caravaggio. Physical conditioning has the added benefit of building mental resilience that helps you push through the adversity. Maybe I'm just old school. No, it's just you just do it at a different time. I think that's our point. Like still do it because it's what every pro athlete is doing. But you don't have to like spend like 30 minutes of your catch wrestling session doing it. You can do 5 minutes or 3 minutes at the beginning, and uh then start your training, and then you can have a separate strength conditioning session. I think that's why I was kind of mentioning the last video on our channel was like a yoga one. So it's like you can be doing other things that basically other outside workouts, right? So those are all part of your strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
Okay. When did you train? When and where did you train in Wigan? Well, I trained in Wigan, that's where. And then when I trained, right when Roy started teaching catch wrestling again, he'd been focusing on freestyle, and then he wanted to do catch wrestling again since he wanted to pass it on. So I went for 5 years, and so that was like I think 10 years ago, over 10 years ago now, actually. All right, so Cindy, here's one. Gabriel, do you guys have any stories about overcoming injuries or setbacks right before competition? I just got cauliflower ear drained a couple of days ago and have a comp tomorrow. Oh.
Oh. Oh my god, bring your headgear. You don't want that to get worse.
Yeah, yeah, you could totally do the headgear thing. But yeah, So would so Cindy, would you still do the competition?
I already paid. I might as well do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of agree because it's not like that's like a knee injury or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. It
yeah,
sucks, but
yeah, and yeah, yeah, I know the cauliflower can just maybe be a little sore, so but it's not like it shouldn't throw you off too much from
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, not a I don't know, not injuries, thank goodness. But maybe setbacks. I have like a lot of confidence issues. Like I just don't feel confident in my rolling just because I take things a little personal. Like I let like my performance equate to my self-worth and I just um how do I say this? I take my performance to heart. And so I've felt that before. And some days you just got to put it all aside and just stick to what you know. Like this is my favorite takedown. I'm going to do my best to try and set it up. This is my favorite submission. I'm going to do my best to set it up. Stick to what you know. Um like I wasn't feeling too good for ADCC San Jose because I haven't been feeling good for a while. Like that little girl, like I haven't been able to submit her. She hasn't been able to submit me, but every time I roll with her, she's always in mount. She's taking my back, whatever. So I wasn't feeling too good. But I stuck to what I know. I really like head and arm throw or headlock throw. So I stuck to that and I did it. And then I really like the Americana from top. So I did that. So stick to what you know. Always fall back on what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like they talk about like what setting up your game and then trying to implement your game plans. Yeah. So, and also too, it's like going back to what we are saying. It's like if there's someone that you're, especially they, if they train at the same gym, then they're gonna get used to like your game, right? So even if they're not as advanced as you are, they're gonna develop counters to your moves like really quickly because they're gonna be frustrated too, right? So they're like, oh, I gotta, find a way to stop this. It might be even more difficult, right, with your home players. So
Yeah.
yeah, so try not to let that throw you off because a stranger you're rolling with the first time in the competition, it's like, you can totally just you might just like run through them, right? So Caravaggio. So you trained at Atherton Wrestling? No, I trained in it's called Aspool Wrestling Club, or they call it the Snake Pit. So Aspool is where it is, and um, that's when they were teaching freestyle. So the freestyle program, I think, is still under that name. And then you'll see it says Snake Pit Wigan. Same, it's the same building. It's the same, the same coach and everything. So Roy Wood.
But Gabriel, good luck tomorrow. Hope your ears are okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for being here, Gabriel. And then yeah. All right. So good luck. Yeah, good luck. And you have a great day too. All right. Yeah. So that's totally the thing. You could totally be doing like you could totally still be kind of like what training in a way. So um whether you're injured or not, there could be something you could be doing, even showing up and then doing the outside things like the physical therapy or the weight training or the yoga, the stretching, all that stuff is part of becoming like a complete like athlete. So it all kind of works together to create a solid foundation. So
Yeah.
Cindy, but even though you were kind of feeling discouraged though before the ADCC, you still like I said, it's like you ended up just really dominating that. So then with that being said, so you weren't feeling so great going into the tournament, and then you just dominated. So then, what kind of like did you learn anything from that experience?
You gotta put it all aside. Like, you can't let it show. Like, oh, maybe that's a horrible way to look at it, but like, you can't let it show because once it breaks through, it gets into your head, it's that's all it's gonna be. Can't let it take over. So, um, I had to put it aside and be like, I gotta show up 100%. I can't dwell on the past right now. I can't. My partners prepared me for this. So I just gotta put it aside and like stick to my game plan. I can't focus on how bad I'm feeling. I gotta focus on the game plan.
Hmm. Yeah, and it paid off
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, 'cause we worked on headlock throw like for years, really, right? And actually, some of the students here at UCLA, they saw your video of the highlights of that tournament, and especially doing the headlock throw, it looked really cool. So one of the students at UCLA was saying, "Oh, when I sparred with Cindy, she was definitely taking it easy on me."
Was it Matt?
Yeah.
Max?
Yeah. No, do you remember Claire, the professor?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she's oh, she was taking it easy on me. Yeah. So yeah. So you kept well, and that's the other thing too. I think sometimes like maybe ego or something, or we get these ideas where it's like if you're learning something, then maybe you'll be invincible or like or so having some kind of struggle or even losing some match or struggling in the gym might really like hurt you in that way where you feel like oh I have no confidence or this is not for me or whatever but um that's like maybe you need a bigger sample for your study right so it's like
Yeah.
yeah so it's going out competing or even going to different open mats can help you as well to kind of get an outside perspective. Because yeah, you are improving no matter what, just like by showing up.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you have another aspect?
I'm trying to think. No, that's like my biggest I still struggle with. Like my biggest issue that I struggle with. And I'm really trying to reframe my thinking to like it's just another puzzle to solve. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be completely honest. Like during Jiu-Jitsu World League, that girl hit me with a blast double and like just kept taking my back and mount. And I just remember thinking like I don't want to be here. I want the round to be over. And when I am getting dominated, I'm trying to reframe like, okay, what do I know from here? What are my escapes? Like what is she doing? How do I counter this? So that's what I'm trying to reframe my thinking as.
Hmm. Yeah, because uh, yeah, like getting good at the defense, like going back to yeah, even if the position doesn't feel as familiar, at least kind of going back to like the defense, right? Like going back to like T-Rex, or just bringing your elbows back in, so
Yeah.
to prevent like arm bars and other kinds of controls, or even you getting wrist control on them. A lot of times, yeah, going back to the absolute fundamental basic defense will at least help you weather the storm, if not even get a like a counter.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any of your own stories?
No, everything has just been awesome the whole time. Just been glorious the whole time. No, I feel kind of, really similar where it's like you like if you roll with someone who's difficult, um, at first maybe you might think like, oh, I don't want to roll with them, but yeah, you should kind of change your perspective and if they're not being dangerous or unsafe or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
then you should be thinking like, oh, I want to continue rolling with them until, say, if you didn't submit them the first time, um, see if you can't like get incrementally better against them, where it's like, uh, maybe you're just defending the whole time the first one, and then see if the next time you roll you can maybe get some advantage over them, even if you're not submitting them, and then maybe eventually you get a submission. So that
Yeah.
you can kind of think of it like that incrementally. Like you're getting used to their style, and but with that being said, it's like you're getting better just overall. So if someone's tough to roll with, like that's probably the person you want to be rolling with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you feel like it's like too difficult, maybe you can ask them questions like, "Oh, what is it that I'm doing that makes it easier for you to counter me or whatever?" So yeah, don't feel um, I guess like don't feel upset if you encounter someone, or don't feel bad about yourself if you encounter someone that's difficult. It's like that's probably the person you want to be rolling with. They'll probably help you to level up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why it's like, yeah, we went to all these different open mats and stuff, and I think it was fun just going against random people. And yeah, what's weird is what's amazing is like there's some people who seem to be kind of either well known or whatever, and if you roll with them and you do very well, it's like might help. Man, you can think of it like an ego boost or whatever, but ultimately it's like you can be thinking about it where it's like, yeah, your training helped you to do well against someone who's been also training for the longest time. So
Hmm.
yeah, so just keep at it.
And also appreciate the little wins. Like I remember talking to Eddie, and he was like, every time you roll with a black belt or something, like maybe it's a success or it's a win if you didn't get tapped like 5 times instead. You only got tapped 4 times, or um, you didn't get tapped at all, but you didn't get tapped them. But that's a win that you didn't get tapped at all. So appreciate the small wins too.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, and you can exactly where it's like, yeah, it's like not getting dominated. Like you get dominated at first, and then slowly you get less dominated, and maybe you're not dominated at all. You slowly turn the tables, hopefully. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, because like I do appreciate even when people have that perspective too, where it's like I told you one of the or oftentimes some people will want to be rolling with me, and because I was difficult to roll with, and so then like one of the instructors at 10th Planet, he would always call me out when it was
Yeah.
time to roll. Yeah, I thought that was funny. But yeah, it's like he totally has the attitude that we're talking about, where it's just like, oh, if you had a difficult time, try to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then you'll just be better for it.
Mhm.
And also, yeah, I do like oftentimes people talk about like not competing, like you don't have to compete ever, and that's true. And then there are a lot of people who are like advanced belts that have never competed, but um, I feel like after you compete, everyone like that I've seen after they've competed, it seems like they're just a little bit better, or like they have like this little boost of like ability. I think so. I believe that competition can maybe like speed up your progress a little bit, where it's like even if you lose, it seems like your timing just gets better or something because like having done it under pressure just kind of gives you a little bit of a extra boost of like you've leveled up somehow, even if you lost in the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cat's going wild over here. All right, so I think you have to go soon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll go ahead and call it here. So let's do one last comment. Professor Eddie seems like a genuinely good dude. Everyone always has good things to say. Yeah, it was his birthday, so I'm sure he's not watching this, but happy birthday, Eddie. Uh, yeah, no, he's totally. Or what are your? You can say your thoughts, and I'll say a couple after.
He's interesting. He's a nice person, but he's also interesting. Like I remember, um, I was crying to him about like how bad I was feeling, and he was like, "It's just like a video game." And he started talking about Call of Duty, and he started talking about video games. And like some people get addicted to video games, some people get addicted to killing each other. And it was really funny. But he's a great person to talk to.
Yeah, and like I guess that's kind of what I was saying. Like people have like this uh their own impression, right? Especially if you're like if you see his interviews or whatever. But in class, like he's always just focused on jujitsu, and yeah, if you ask him some questions, yeah, he might go off on tangents, but still the whole idea is he's trying to help you get better, and it's still yeah, the ultimate focus is learning jujitsu. So he's always helpful and nice and funny, right, or interesting. He's very unique. Yeah. All right. Do you have time for another one, Cindy? Or you got to get going?
I gotta get going.
Okay. All right. So we'll like thank everyone for their last comments. But yeah, we I guess we got to get going, so we'll try to save them for next time. And feel free to also like comment in the description box or comment in the comment section later, so that we can check them out, and then we can come back with more podcasts and stuff. So feel free to ask, and we'll probably do a whole podcast on your subject. All right. So if you want to support us, you can join our YouTube channel, or you can take one-off classes on our website, catchwrestlingalliance.com. You can also become part of the academy at our website. You can also train with us in Los Angeles at Fight Science MMA. So thank you very much, and then we'll see you next time.